bring in Stacey Lee. She's a professor of practice at Johns Hopkins University. Professor, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. It's been a year since Dobbs v. Jackson decision removed federal abortion protections. How drastic has that change been in the number of states legally allowing abortions? And then has there been a significant change in the number of legal abortions performed?
Yes, there's been a huge change. There's been a 6% decrease in the number of abortions. And in states where there's a total ban, where you had people getting up to 7,000 abortions in a month, that's gone to almost zero. And what that's really done is put an increased amount of pressure on the states that do provide the services. Now you have people coming from out of state, in addition to the residents within the states that might be seeking that service. So it's had a huge impact on women seeking the services, and an unintended consequence is because so many clinics have shut down, just basic reproductive care that women had relied on these clinics for, because they've shut down, it's been increasingly difficult for them to get that type of health care as well.
Yeah, which brings me to my very next question. Do you believe with Roe now gone, it's created a more unequal healthcare system for women? And if so, how so?
Oh, absolutely. This state-by-state approach to the access to necessary reproductive care really disadvantages people who are minorities, typically Black and Hispanic women. It affects people of certain socioeconomic classes. If you're in a job or you don't have the means to travel to another state or the health care to provide for those services, this absolutely has a more pronounced effect on you than someone else.
And abortion opponents are hoping for a national ban. Do you think that we ever get there?
This is a very different landscape. If you had asked me 4 years ago, did I ever think that we'd be where we are now? I'd say absolutely not. What I have taken some comfort in, as this has become a very charged political issue. There had been perhaps a certain complacency with people believing that Roe v. Wade could never be overturned. And I think in this upcoming election, you will see a lot of people coming out and on both sides now supporting a candidate purely on one issue. So a total ban is not something that I see in the makings anytime soon.
And then do you think the ruling will affect the presidential campaign's election in 2024? And then is this an issue you think will send voters to the polls next November?
Oh, well, absolutely send voters to the polls. And in terms of the candidates running for presidency and other offices, it's very tricky. There are a number of swing or undecided voters. And your stake or your stance on abortion may be the deciding factor. And some of the legislation that we've seen doesn't necessarily reflect the will of the people, with over half the United States very much in support of some form of reproductive choice being left wholly to the female.
And really quickly, only about 30 seconds left. I want to know that if you support the increased HIPAA protections that a group of AGs recently addressed to the health secretary that would essentially make sure that health information is kept private and, people aren't sort of targeted, because they do say that there is this sort of fear for people who help with abortions or who seek abortions.
Oh, I absolutely respect and advocate for any type of legislation that protects personal autonomy, personal choice, and protected health information.
All right, Stacey Lee, we will have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.